Hello everyone, and welcome to the SpaceChem Round 6 tournament video for 2021. This is Greek Wrath that we're taking a look at. So let's take a look at the puzzle. So this is running with the theme from the first week when we made a trident for Poseidon, and the two brothers have also asked us to create a bolt and a bident, with the theme being hopefully obvious. And you have to do all of this using only element sigma with only 2 reactors. So this was a very difficult puzzle to solve, but we got a lot of creative approaches to it. And without further ado, let's take a look. So first we have Field Armada with Completion Solve. And I'll also mention you can use the voice chat spillover if you need voice adjacent channel. Alright. So this is going to be a setup where the first reactor has a self pipe loop and is going to feed everything else in through one output pipe towards the second reactor. Most solutions ran with double pipes to the output, but this is another approach that can be useful. So let's take a look. So how's the output pipe is the top one and is coming to the beta input, so let's see how that gets used. First we're going to send in some sigmas because we send everything to the same square of the output zone, and that's going to allow us to drop them over the splitter over here when they get inputted. So blue's already started doing that here. If you take a look, waits for the atom to come around the pipe and then it comes back in. And then we're going to start with splitting. So basically the idea behind this puzzle is you have to create cadmium and iodine, and what that effectively means is splitting the 101 that you get from, you get 2 101s when you split sigma, it's effectively element 202, and you're going to have to transfer 2 atomic mass over from the 50 to the 51, effectively. Oh, is the output mislabeled? Yeah, the output is backwards here, I think. I think this is the top outputs label and this is the bottom outputs label. Yeah. Or actually it's, I think, just wrong in some cases. Like there's this drop, but we'll see. Anyway, so we have Mendelevium. Gosh, I mispronounced that. Mendelevium. And we're going to get rid of that because we don't need it right now, and then we're going to start splitting our other Mendelevium, I think. Oh, in a second after sending more through the pipes. So we always do a split loop over it through the output pipe, basically. And yeah, there's a carbon sensor, so as Field Armada mentions, it splits everything down to 6, so let's see how that gets used. There's a couple of submitters did this where instead of going all the way to try and extract the 2 from helium, you can cut it off early and extract 6 and transfer it over while you're splitting the 101. And that'll result in something that splits into 48. Is I believe what was done here, if I remember. Ah, no, this is this counting 6s? Yeah, let's see. Okay, keep shuffling outputs through the pipe. And then when do we find a carbon? Let's throw a pause in here. Finally we get down to magnesium, and then, oops, still one more. There we go. Okay, so once we have carbon, we're going to start fusing up with it. And we're going to do that until we reach 48, I believe. Oops, I missed it. What do we do after we hit that? So we've got 48. Where do we detect it? It was via counting with flip-flop. So blue has this flip-flop array that will eventually hit a sink, tell red that the cadmium is done. And then red will output it toward the second reactor. Apologies for my hoarse voice. And next we have the rest should add up to iodine. Yeah, as we see, the remainder product that was being built is already iodine, which blue is fusing up the leftovers. So red just needs to grab that and output it, and we're done. And meanwhile, at some point, element sigma also got thrown in here. When did that happen? So basically this is going to throw in a mixture of the cadmium, iodine, and sigma to the reactor, and I think it does it in balanced ratios because it only has one pipe to work with here. What is this flip-flop? 1, 2, 3. That's a 6 count. So it must have done 5 sigmas, and then the other time it hits the sink and tells red to do the cadmium. Yeah, 5 sigmas get thrown in every 2 split cycles. Yeah. So that's the total ratio you need is 5 sigmas to basically, yeah, 2 split cycles of, well, you need, the sum total of all these is 2 sigmas, basically. With the 4 iodines and 4 cadmiums. Yeah, so let's take a look at, so yeah, this is the gist of the first reactor. I'm not going to get too much into the details because we do have limited time here, but you can see there's is this a 5 count flip-flop, or is this, no, this is also 6. Yeah, this is all counting in 6s, with the 2 and the 3 here. And that's, when did red use this? Let's just double check. Oops. Another process in there. So red eventually counts, and that's once you've reset the entire loop, you go back to get the first input. Or sorry, this is the second input. The second input, because yeah, we're counting 2 sigmas for the splits versus. Oh no, this is the 6 splitter. Okay, for the 5 sigmas go out this path, and the other one is used for the splitting. All right. And let's take a look at the second reactor now. So, what have we done here? A bit shaky on these ones because I did these at the very start earlier this afternoon, but okay, we're gonna have everything coming in pretty much the same spot except for the sigmas in a slightly more convenient spot. And let's take a look at it with a pause command because otherwise this will take a while. It takes careful use of pause commands to analyze these and get rid of the first reactor's pause. Oops, sorry, I clicked out of the window. Okay, here we go. So cadmium, so yeah, this is the hardest part of this level is building both of these in one reactor. So there's ways that you can get the first reactor to help out with that, but this one, it's just going to be pure atoms, so let's take a look. Okay, throw it over, yeah, we're building 2 stacks basically independently with a flip-flop, so it's basically doing each of the molecule constructions independently. First we're going to build up 2 each, and then where do we go? Is this 4 sticks? This is 4 sticks. Yeah, oops, that was fast. Okay, here we go. So the 4th iodine comes in, now it knows it's done after counting to 4, and then blue is going to come help out with the actual construction where it breaks up the sticks. And pulls in the sigma in this loop to create a stack with the double bonds. And then it's going to just attach to the side, and that one's done. And same idea for the iodines is, oh, not same idea. It's going to just pull out 1 with red. Yeah, so sorry, these are 2 different handlings. Red does this shape, which is isomorphic to the bolt via some amount of rotating, and gets it to the output zone. So yeah, basically taking 4 sticks and breaking it in half, which is something we'll see again later. A lot of people found that it was convenient to build up 4 sticks first. All right, and this will be good for 143 symbols and 81,669. All right. Thank you, Field Armada. Next is Yellow Bunny with 101, which is, I believe, the metric score. So let's take a look at this. 120 symbols. All right, and this is going to be one of the both pipes going to the second reactor solutions, which is, I think, most people did. So let's take a look. We're detecting this is, oh my goodness, I forgot you can't actually look at the element, but it's BK, which is berkelium. Yeah, 97, that's right. Which is, when you split berkelium, you get, what is this, 49 and 48. So that's how you can get your cadmium out. That's why we're detecting berkelium. And let's look at what blue's doing here. I think this is a 5 loop. Yeah, okay, so red's going to do a fission fusion loop where it does split, grab, fuse, drop until it detects that it's created berkelium. No, sorry. Until blue decides to help out with the berkelium. and then tell red that it's done it. So blue's counting sinks here. And then we'll get our cadmium out and fuse the rest. We'll create iodine as the leftover, because no matter what, as long as you create one of the products, the leftover will be 53. If you're only working with one mendelevium. And we'll send both those to the output zone, and now how do we get our sigmas out too? Blue's going to do some. Is it just the one? I think there was a second. Maybe not. How does blue get both of these in? Pause here. One with both of them. Yeah, it just does 1, 2. Where does it find its fifth? Oh, here it is. It counts to 5 here, yeah. So that's where it gets its fifth sigma. It counts to 5 and throws in an extra sigma. We can show that. Oops, if I don't delete symbols by accident. Boom, boom, and next one. Oops. There we go. So then it just does 1 extra sigma output. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't even use the second pipe. That's true. So it's a single pipe solution, but didn't need the loop back here. It's just going to do everything with a regular split fuse loop. So that'll save a lot of symbols. The previous solution had a lot of shuffling things into the output pipe that looped back around, which kind of cost a lot of symbols. And this reactor is going to, again, have to deal with single inputs, which is going to be tricky, so let's see how it's done. Oops, I keep forgetting to remove my pauses in the first reactor. Alright. So let's put some smart pauses in here. Red's inputting. Oops, too fast. Blue. Hold on, what's going on here? Did I get the direction wrong? I did. Yeah, blue's operating while red bounces back and forth here. So here we go. Blue is going to pull out the cadmium and the iodine, which are conveniently different spots, so you can input them both at once, and then red will go for the sigma and get everything set up. So there's kind of 3 bonding areas that are used here. One for the bolt, one for the biident, and then one to fix bonds, I believe. And let's do that again. Yeah, creating sticks-ish with the sigma at the front. So now we can flip this over. This is a shape we'll see a lot, is double iodining to sigma, and then flip it over. And that's our repeating pattern to create the bolt. Meanwhile, the bind is a little trickier to handle because it's just a more unwieldy shape. You have to finagle it. Sometimes you make an asymmetric shape. Bolt is relatively nice. But here we go. I think we're going to make a 5-stick here and then fix it. Yeah, that's right. And then obviously we can't output something this long, so we're going to have to do the regular construction method, then break it in half-ish. Here we go. Break it into thirds. So red will pull this over, and then we need 1 more sigma. And boom, boom, cut again. Conveniently, we have the bonders right here again after pushing it over. Oops, sorry, I just put that pretty fast, but it just rotate into that sigma. Let's do that again. So red comes around, cut, rotate bond, and then we're done with 1 more bond fix. So this bonder putting in work for all the cutting and double bonding. All right, and I think that's basically it. Yeah, red just has a lot of pathing right here just to get the flip done and help out with the cutting. So that's going to cost a few symbols, but this will come in at 120 symbols, I should say, and 6090 cycles. I think this was named 101 before 1 symbol save, probably. And next is British Boys with Pew Pew. British Boys is, let me remind us again, Monster Racer, Matter Monkey, and Brit Boy. So let's take a look. Yes. So they've drawn the missing Poseidon trident in the pipes because they needed a very long pipe. But this is, again, both pipes are going from the 2 reactors, so let's take a look. And yeah, so the previous solutions did a lot of counting with flip-flops in order to make sure that they got the right ratio of sigmas to iodines and cadmiums in 1 pipe. But if you use 2 pipes, then you can avoid that problem because you can just put them out at whatever ratio you want, and the second reactor will just input whatever it needs. So that's why they have a very long buildup pipe here too, is because they actually output, I believe this one was at half rate on the sigma. So they're actually going to build up a lot of iodine and cadmium in their pipes. That's why it's so long. Anyway, let's take a look at the actual fusion here. Fission fusion. So this is going to be detecting lithium, which was, and sorry, SN, which is, oh my goodness, don't know my elements. What is SN? Well, I guess we'll find out. Oops. 6, 7. No, I just skipped it. There it is. All right, it's tin. Sorry. Yes. Chat is yelling at me that yeah, of course everyone here knows the elements. SN tin is 50. Yeah, I should have known that. All right, so we're gonna find 50, which is the standard way of doing this, where you detect and when you're at the 50 mark and add 2 to the 51, because you'll have 50 and 51 at that point. Okay, so let's take a slower look. So blue's going to set up with the bottom fuser. We're going to run one splitter to 2 fusers here, and then use one splitter in the output zone. So here we go. We've set up our 50, and we're actually going to run both of these at once, I think it was. Do we? No, just the one. Drop that pause. Okay, so we build it up, and then eventually we count with blue. Sorry, we detect lithium first. Fuse that. Yeah, there it is. So we add the lithium to the mendelevium. This will give us rutherfordium, but hang on a second, it'll make sense. And there we go. We've got, yeah, that's actually how we're building this up. We're creating curium and seaborgium, and those both split into 48 and 53, respectively, twice. So that'll be convenient for us because we just take both of those to the splitter in the output zone. Throw in some sigmas to make sure that we have enough. Red just does one of those to every 2 outputs. And we just did a split output there, and we'll do the same thing with blue to create 2 cadmiums. So we're sending 2 cadmiums, 2 iodines to 1 sigma out, and that's why we have a huge buildup in this pipe, because we actually need more sigmas than cadmiums and iodines, or than cadmium-iodine pairs. All right, and with that, let's take a look at the second reactor. So it can just treat this like a normal input zone, except with a lot of delay. And how do we build up our bolt and bident? Oh, it's going to take a while. Let me find a good pause. Here's one, and probably need one here too. Okay. So there's one, and oops, don't blink. So we're going to pull out the sigma, the second iodine in between them, and that's how we get our standard iodine sigma stick. And then, meanwhile, blue's going to go and do the construction of the bident. So basically, they're operating almost independently, I think. And eventually we'll get our second sigma, because yeah, this waiting for the sigmas takes a while. Third sigma, so we built our handle in the bident here in a second. Oops, yeah, I need another pause. Okay, and then red's going to come in and do its other half in the same manner after flipping it over to put it down, and the bonds will just work here. So once again, oops, I haven't memorized the cycle counts here. Yeah, there it is. Bond. We've actually overbonded once, so this pair of bonders will fix that and drop an out, and then blue has to do one more pair of cadmiums. This is actually where red comes in and helps. Sorry, it's not entirely independent. So red, after it was finished, its molecule came in on this path and is going to pull 2 cadmiums out conveniently using these bonders again to do the side attach. And that is it. Yep. So we can just let that run for a bit, but it's just to show what it looks like. And this is going to save another big jump of 14 symbols, thanks to the removal of the need for complexity in the first reactor with all that counting. Yes, the brothers do thank you for the correct shapes here. Not all the solutions created the correct shapes. All right, and this will come in at 17,221 and 106 symbols. Next, we have JFB 1337 with flip-flop hell / sync hell. All right, this is going to be another loopback reactor. But this is going to do it with practically single Waldo is the fun thing, and a lot of counting with flip-flops on blue. So let's take a look at... This is a 5-count flip-flop, but we're going to do something special when we come into it later. This took me a bit to understand, but we'll have all the sigma and pairs of iodine and cadmium bonded in this convenient manner coming out. So first blue sets up its flip-flops and sends out a sigma, and then it's going to count to 5, which will result in 4 sigmas going out because it started its because the 5th time it actually just goes up. And now it's going to use that for its fission fusion loop. So here we go. So red, meanwhile, has been spamming input, and that's going to result in everything blue sends over here will instantly come over here as it needs it, without blue having to do anything. And red's also going to assist with the fuse command for symbol efficiency. So here we go. We're splitting everything. We're saying all our split outputs to the right, and they're all going to magically appear on the left. And here we go. So we split apart to get our tin. Same kind of standard approach. And I believe I missed. When did the helium get skipped? Oh, there. Yeah, we just don't put it in. So here we take the lithium. Instead of fusing helium into 50, whatever 51 is called, we fuse lithium into tin, antimony. And that'll be good to create the 2 atoms we need, and then just bond them up. Boom. And then do the same thing with the second one. And the other thing I skipped over here, I think, let's show this, is after we come around... No, sorry, this is correct. The second time after we've done this twice, we also dropped it in our loopback pipe, so this iodine cadmium pair is going to magically appear over here where we can bond it. And now we're going to output it, and let's show what we do to our flip-flops now. So we've only outputted 4 sigmas, and we need 5. So what we do is we purposely run through our 5-count loop, prime it, and now when we go through, it'll only do 1 sigma output, thanks to that flip-flop. And then we're back to the start of our solution. Yep. So nicely kind of primed in the middle of the solution instead of at the start to get the count right. And with that, we're done with the first reactor, and we're going to see how it uses these 5 sigmas and this particular way of bonding these to create the outputs. So let's see, I think we built a sigma stick first for the bident. Yeah. And red's got this kind of nice double loop shape. And then blue is constructing the bolt. Let's see, can we throw in a good pause? Okay, so it does the input twice to get the iodine cadmium pairs, and then how does it attach to them? There we go. So taking advantage of the cadmium max bonds. So cadmium has a max bond of 2, and with careful bonder priority arrangement, making these the top priority bonders, you can make the cadmium bond downward first, and that'll allow the iodine to escape. And red will flip this over, and it's already pretty much most of the way done its bident. It just needs to fix bonds. And same goes for that bolt, so it's not too bad. Nice and simple blue for blue. And here we go, second time around. I guess we can fast forward that. Oops. So now we've dropped it in exactly the right spot, so this will work again. Again, the cadmium's bond downward first, and then we just need to fix the bonds on the bident, which will happen via a debond and then rebond on the other side. We do get the correct shapes in this output in this solution too. And it gets dropped early here because it was more convenient, I think, with how the first loop happened. Is that right? Let me double check. Why do we have this drop here? Pause here. No? Here. I guess not. Okay, so why did we have to drop early? Reuses the grab drop from earlier. Where's their grab drop? Am I blind? Oh, you mean grab and drop, yeah. Okay. Right, because we used this for, when did we use this? Oh yeah, this grab drop. Okay, so that's why we did the drop there, because that allows us to just use this grab drop anyway, and it doesn't matter when it goes out. Okay. I can buy that. And yeah, that'll be it, and eventually this will get shuffled over when it's doing its next loop anyway. So why not? Okay. And that will, yeah, that's it for the second reactor. So the second reactor actually came out relatively clean with these, yeah, not too many flip-flop masses. In spite of the name being flip-flop hell, this second reactor has no flip-flop in sync hell. It was all contained in the first reactor. In fact, wait, do you even have any sinks in the solution? Oh yeah, there are sinks, sorry. Okay. Yeah, but very nice, and this will come out to 96 symbols, and if I remove my pauses, where did I put that? 8652. Another 10 symbol jump. So yeah, we're going in leaps and bounds here. This is a very complicated puzzle, so there's a lot of spread in the scores. And next we have Resumes with default solution copy, copy, copy. And this is an interesting one because it actually builds the output in the first reactor, one of them, the bolt. And that will mean that the second reactor's job is simpler, and the output from the first reactor is simpler. This one, I actually checked, and I'm pretty sure this is just a cadmium. Correct me if I'm missed anything, but I looked through this earlier, and this was only a cadmium output, so you might as well label that. Am I crazy? Resumes, can we confirm? Anyway, let's see. Yeah, so we do our mendelevium split, and then we're going to get into a kind of somewhat standard fission fusion. Let's see how this is done. Oh yeah, red's going to wait on helium. So this is going to be the helium into antimony based approach. And there we go. Boom. And we're done. JFP comments that his solution used to have, or their solution used to have quite a few more sinks. Maybe should have renamed it to Sink Purgatory. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, there's the cadmium going out in the bottom, and sigma is going to get sent out to the top. I might have missed it. Meanwhile, how do we get our second one done? Yeah, same approach. We just needed to, where did we leave it? We left it up here, and red comes and picks it up. And keep counting, and then fuse up into the split 51. So we're going to send, yeah, the iodines here and actually do the construction. So how does blue manage that? Does a couple of, or one sigma first, then it's going to take the second flip-flop down, do our standard shape, flip over blindly, or flip and bond blindly, and the second time around that'll actually do something. So let's let it run through, just to let some atoms dance. And here we go. So boom, the first time these bonds did nothing, but now they will do the correct thing, and these rotates are left over from the first round, which is fine. The first pass through. And there we go. So we've completed the bolt in the first reactor entirely. So yeah, this was the interesting thing about this level, I thought, is that there's a lot of work to do in the second reactor, and you want to find ways to make either the first reactor help out entirely, as in this case, or partially, and make the second reactor's job easier somehow. Because you do have some bonders to work with in the nuclear reactor. Alright, and I think that's good for the first reactor. So now the second reactor just has to create the biodent, and because we only have to work with elements sigma and cadmium coming in, we can do this neat approach of creating these 3 sticks, and then we're actually just going to cut off the excess. Let's show it. So boom. Where we go? Oops. Hard to catch a pause in here, but somewhere we're going to get more cadmiums. Alright, well, you can see the gist. It bond. Maybe we'll catch it on one other loops, but yeah, we're just creating these sticks and attach them sideways. We are at resumes the solution. Am I getting this backwards? Yeah, resumes the solution. Miss Tang was just asking in the chat. Alright. So eventually we'll get our input in, if I could ever find the timing. There it is. It was around 300. And then both these inputs are conveniently right above each other because of how the first reactor output them, so we just have to do one bond in place, and we're done. And we do that one more time, so we're going to build an excess amount of atoms here. Oops, I skipped past it. How do we catch this? 300, probably 450, 400. Yeah, here we go. Okay. And now we do a blind grab, so that's how we did it. So we blind grab in the third spot, so we will only do this when it's actually possible, and then cut off the middle. And this is also needs to be reconstructed, but it's actually easy enough to do with this cut. Do some double bonding, and then come around and attach to the side with another double bond there conveniently. So very nice, and that will be the output. Okay, so yeah, this was an interesting, I think, was there anyone else who did a bolt in the first reactor too? I think there might have been, but I forget. And this will come in at 91 symbols, which was, what was that, a 4-cycle jump? Yeah, and 9630, so very nice. Next we have MS Tang with Zig, why have you done this to us? Yeah, fair enough, this was definitely a big jump in difficulty this week. But, you know, we gotta give you guys a challenge so you guys will stop all having such optimized solutions. Alright, let's see. Okay, this is a squiggly pipe layout, which means that we are going to be creating an excess of 1 output, I believe. And it's also going to assist the second reactor by creating the doubly bonded sigmas for the bident early. So let's show off how this works. First we set up a sigma, and then we alternately send sigmas to the bottom output, so blue's just kind of sending the right amount of sigmas out. And preparing the bonds. And then red can get started once it detects that blue's done with this 3-count flip-flop. So red's in charge of the fission fusion, and it's going to do the helium approach with this large loop. And it's purposely dropping it in the output zone. Very nice, so that it doesn't have to be moved again. And eventually we'll find our helium, and this flip-flop will eventually let us escape to once it counts that it's done the job. So there we go, we've created cadmium and iodine. We can output them in place, so eventually we'll escape with that 4-count. Or actually, sorry, this was an 8-count, I guess. And that's it, and then we just loop again with the flip-flop. Pretty easy. And that will be the first reactor, but then how do we deal with all of these incoming atoms in the second reactor? Let's take a look. Alright, so red's doing the bolt, blue's doing the bident, and they are, I think, basically independent. Yeah, let's see. Yep. So there's the stick coming in. Let me pause this. Okay, blue doesn't need to do anything on its first pass, meanwhile red's shuffling 1 sigma over to the correct spot, and then, yeah, again, blue does everything in blind loops, I believe. In fact, they're operating independently on the outputs, they don't care where the other one's at, as far as I know. There's no point where the bonds can mess each other up. Unless blue are double bonding here, but that seems to never happen. And it's controlled by the first reactor's output rate anyways, so. Okay, so we're going to do an asymmetrical style here where we rotated it so that we're getting 2 arms stuck on the same way in a windmill approach. Created the first stick on red meanwhile. Where are we at? Blue's done, but it needs to blind grab down here to find out. So we'll do that and drop an output. So yeah, very nice blind construction loop by blue. And meanwhile red's going to eventually grab when it's 3 long, drop, and on the second time around come and put it in place. Oops. Blinking you miss it. Here we go. So let's show how that's done. We'll come in, create that bond, and then it needs to come pick up its sigma. How does it get that, actually? Oh, was that a leftover? How did we do that? I guess that's a leftover, because we never picked that up.
The first output.
Yeah. Why was that? Why did that happen? I missed that. Dropped the first output because you were setting up for your flip-flops or some such? No.
just so that way, like with the offset, it's easier to, because otherwise you start with 2 sigmas in a row.
Ah. Okay, because you need it to be in the middle of your pattern instead of at the front, you're saying?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, blue purposely dropped 1 and then output it before it was ready. Instead of the blind grab to, or sorry, not blind grab, but instead of counting to 3 and picking it up again. Or no, sorry, not picking it up, but how did this get down here? Wait. Oh, yeah, the first, the non-split one. Yeah, it just gets output instead of being split. Okay, fair enough. Cool. Thank you for that. And yeah, that was Emma's Tang. And yeah, that's it. So the second reactor ignores that sigma and then just does a regular construction loop with red, using the sigmas that arrive in the right spot here. Very nice. And the blind grab drop will get it to the output zone eventually, after a couple of passes. Yep. Okay, I guess we should show that, but... Oh, can't count. Here, grab, drop. Where does it actually get moved? Oh, sorry, blue moves it. Yeah, very clever. Okay, blue does help out. Yep. Okay, so yeah, that's why these blind grab drops are here. Yeah, okay. And that'll come in at 89 symbols, another 2 symbol jump, I think, and 11,711 cycles. Very nice. Next is counterpoint with default solution. Everyone with the default solution names. And this will be another classic 2 pipes going out, and that means we're going to... Oh, this one's... Yeah, this is actually going to do some prep work. The pipes are short, so there's no imbalance. But I think... We must be counting, right? Yeah, we must be sending out the correct ratio of sigmas out here. Okay, let's show it. Oh yeah, this one has these interesting sigma sensors, which it's going to use to tell when blue is doing something, if I recall. Okay, red's doing some prep work. It's gonna... Oh yeah, that's right. It creates its iodines and it throws them into a stack immediately. And that when that stack builds up, it's going to detect that it's done the stack and use that to escape its loops. It's not blue, it's looking for itself. Meanwhile, blue's going to do the split fuse loops. This is a standard split, fuse, drop, grab again. And we're detecting... This is the carbon approach. Okay, how did we get to silver? Let's show that more slowly. Okay, 51, 50, 101. Where do these turn into 47? Remove carbon, and then we split americium. Okay. Yeah. So this is an interesting way to get to the 53-48 split. So if you remove 6, set it aside, and split the remainder, then you can fuse into the silver that gets split off. And then you'll get to iodine, and the rest is, of course, cadmium. Or rather, you remove the carbon so that you can get to something that splits into cadmium is the more reasonable way to say it. Alright, and we do that one more time, and then red will detect that it's done its stick. Meanwhile, it's just sending out cadmiums and sigmas. And how did we get the right ratio of sigmas out here? Is it red doing that? Yeah, no. Maybe I'm getting something backwards. Do we have a different ratio? We must. Alright, chat, where did I miss something? I forget where we found the extra sigma in this solution. Boop, boop, boop. Cadmium, 1 cadmium goes out each time we do that split loop. There's 1, okay. So red counts 1, 2, okay, I see. And then I think in some that's 3, because it's a 4 count. So it'll send out 3 sigmas, that's how we do it. Meanwhile, it'll also be doing its regular sigma preparation there, after, well, it counts to 4. Okay, and with that, we are good to go to the second reactor, which has, the bolt should be easy, and then how do we build up the bident? So we're going to have blue stalled on bond, which is a common approach for the second reactor. And how do we go about this? So we're going to start with the bolt, I guess. I don't know, is there a convenient spot for a... Oops, okay, 700, and so... Where do we find our second input? Oh my gosh, it's so fast. sorry about this. Every time. 400. There it is, yeah, okay. So we rotate, come around, down, bond, bond, and we're good to go for that. And then let's build up our bident. With some careful amount of flip-flopping, we get around to this side and do our inputs. Yep, get 2 cadmiums. Rotate and come in from underneath again to get more cadmiums in the right orientation. And now we just need to throw on sigmas. Which again works out. Look at that nice spiral shape. That's really nice symmetry. And how do we get our double bonds this time? It's because cadmium has a bond limit. Again, yeah, it's very nice. This implicitly takes care of the double bonds. Okay. Yeah, very nice second reactor. That's only, I don't even know, 25 odd symbols? That is what I call a bident. Getting dangerously close to another tournament swastika solution, but oh well. Alright, very nice. And this will come in at 80 symbols, a big jump down, and 7454 cycles. 9 symbol jump. Next we have, yeah, that was counterpoint, I forget if I mentioned, but yeah, next we have Tough Thought with 3 red flip-flops, BABAB pattern. Yeah, Tough Thought's got an interesting flip-flop setup in this first reactor. So this is, yeah, I believe a 5 count. It's a bit hard to parse, but ignoring this sensor, which is only for stalling, we're going to prime this first flip-flop, and that's going to result in, I think, the pattern that Tough Thought was talking about. And meanwhile, blue's doing a lot of fission fusion work. So red's basically just counting, is this sigmas it's collecting? Yeah, red's counting how to output the right ratio of sigmas. 3 to 2, or sorry, 2 to 3. And blue, meanwhile, is doing the split fusion loop with a helium approach. So let's show that again more slowly. So blue creates the Mendelevium, puts one aside, and then we go into a split loop with tin. So, or sorry, antimony, we're looking for helium, yeah. And eventually we'll find it, and we're done. The iodine, just output it directly into very nice, and cadmium also conveniently in the output zone. Okay, so I think they're operating kind of independently, apart from the fact that red has to wait around for blue to be out of the way, and make sure that it doesn't output too fast, and keep in time with blue. And so yeah, that's a nice technique to stall on the wall there to keep the timing right. And other than that, yeah, let's just look more closely at these flip-flops just to show it. So let's put a pause right here, maybe here and here. Oops. Just to show it. Okay, so we come in, first flip-flop's primed. Ah, that's not where we want it. Can we do this? Does this break it? We can probably do this. Oh, no, we can't. Sorry, I'm ruining your solution here. Alright, just because I want to pause there. That looks better. Okay. One comes around, bounces them. Now it's unprimed. And we've primed that first flip-flop, comes around. Now we have these two set up. There, and again, this bounce back early to prime it. Direct output, and the rest will bounce through here. Oops, sorry, this one goes out. Am I getting the ratio right? I should be, yeah, this should be 2 and to 3. When are we back to the start? We should reach a point where the first one is flipped again, unless I'm mixing this up. I think I am. 2, 1, 3, 2, 2. Okay, that's the loop. Yeah. So I guess the first time around it's, yeah, because sorry, the first time around it's priming both of these, of course. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's a 5 count. Maybe that was a unnecessary detour, but let's look at the second reactor now. So this is, yeah, again, we have a blue on a bond wall stall on the bond command, and red's got these two loops to work with to create the two molecules. Let's throw convenient pauses in. And we have, this arrow is not extra, it's a bounce back. So red's going to bounce and rotate to get the double rotate in, triple rotate. Boom. There's the cadmium attaching to the side, and then we get to do it again. Now it's touching on the bottom. It's kind of hard to get the timing right to show exactly what's happening, but it bounced back, attached to the bottom, and attached to the side, I think you can see. And then, what was the timing on that loop? Should be around now, yeah. Okay, rotate, and we'll have to come around one more time to fix that, and then flip-flop our way out of it. Yep, so mostly just done with this bounce back flip-flop, and then 2 passes through. Okay, and the double bonds got implicitly created while it was moving downwards here, I should mention. So that's our first one done, and then it goes up to the second section, which is entirely independent from the first. And that one's actually pretty easy. Let's show that again. Oops. So create one with regular stick pulling, and flip it over. And that's it. Boom, boom, we're done. Very nice, very clean second reactor. And this is good for 78 symbols, another 2 symbols saved, and unless I've left a pause command in here, which I don't think I have, and 8336 cycles. Very nice stuff, thought. Next is Darius 1 with a solution. A lot of people were struggling to solve this one this week, I think. Alright, so this is going to use the recycler, and let's show what it's doing. So instead of, yeah, so I provided the recycler because I knew that some people might want to do garbage pipes, but I didn't realize that until IEEE pointed that out to me, so thank you very much, because I forgot to not make it terrible for people having to make a garbage pipe that's really squiggly. So we updated the puzzle to add that recycler, and it's getting good usage. Now let's show what's going on here. Blue has a nitrogen loop. And red is, yeah, this one's a complicated one. Red is waiting around until it sees the nitrogen happen, I think. No. Blue's handling all itself for now. It was a bit hard to parse what was happening with red's sensors. But, okay, we're doing a 6-7 split, which means that we're doing, I think, the fusion to get up to, what was it called, 98, whatever it is. Or 96, whatever it is. Is that right? Oh, no, sorry, oh, okay, I remember now. Yeah, this was it's building up 6s and 7s, and it's actually just multiplying 6s and 7s to get up to 48, and it'll count to 49, and then add 4 to that instead. Let's show this. So if we just iterate through this, we'll see this is going up by 6s, and that will eventually get to 48 by careful counting. And how do we do that counting? 42, what's the trigger? 48, where's our output command? Here. Has red been counting with flip-flops? No, it's a timing loop. That's right. Okay, so it's a timing loop to detect, and it'll actually detect the nitrogen when it's on the right timing, and then it knows that it needs to help out. So what it'll do is the last carbon will be, or the last, nitrogen will be split, so it gets only 4. That'll mean that it creates iodine. Red will take that and put it somewhere convenient. And then the leftover is going to fuse up to cadmium. And red's going to output that now that it's out of its loop. Yeah, so this is a timing-based solution. That's right. Meanwhile, we've put the iodines somewhere over here, so we're probably going to be, creating this convenient shape for the second reactor. But we'll see that in the second pass around. So let's move our pause over here. First pass, we drop it. Second pass, there's already one there, so now we create the squiggle and we do a blind grab. So the second time around, this will actually not leave anything behind. And output it with some amount of bounce backs for timing reasons. So that, yeah, this is carefully timed, I think. And again, the Mendelevium check is just to get back to the... Or sorry, the Mendelevium check is to check when it needs to do this, reset the input, and also it creates a 3 stick of sigmas. So the first reactor is doing a lot of work for the second reactor, which is nice. And eventually it'll be timed correctly to, or it'll get back and it's on the right timing to again do this nitrogen, blind nitrogen timing. So the first time it does nitrogen, it doesn't detect it, but eventually it works its way back here based on this disparate loop sizes. This is 10, 12 versus that must be 18. Yeah. Okay. So very nice. So with all of that complication, our second reactor gets to be very simple. We have cadmium, most of the bolt constructed already, and the handle dividend constructed already. So let's show what happens after we bond a couple of cadmiums together. Oops, not you. Okay, so we take the cadmiums, put them in the right spot, and flip around some iodines. And look at that, the sigmas just drop right into place. So red doesn't even have to do anything except hit input. Very nice, and we'll do that one more time. And we're basically done. Blind grab for when it's actually done with a nice reuse of the drop / grab. And its output. And also the bonds get fixed by turning it sideways there, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, right here. Very nice. And that's basically it. The bolt was also created pretty easily here. I don't know if I showed. Oops. There, boom, boom. Yeah, again, just takes 2 bonders to fix the iodine if you get the right shape. Or to fix the bolt if you get the right shape coming in. Very nice. So this will come in at 78 symbols. This is actually a symbol tie. But this will come in at only, oops. Oh no, sorry, it's not a symbol tie, it's 77. This will win by 1 symbol over Tough Thought solution. And it is actually on the slower end, yeah. So it wasn't going to win a cycle tie breaks, but it was 47k, unless it was against LazyOS, who we'll see is next. But they had 75 symbols. Now, something funny happened with this one. They had 75 symbols. What am I looking at? Oh, sorry. I've copied the wrong one over. I had to... So something funny happened with this one. They submitted right before the deadline, but the bot demands to know the metascore, which they didn't have, even though it was a functional solution, because they hadn't run it yet, because this takes on the order of 3 million cycles. So let me grab you their actual solution, which is 75 symbols, not 76. And that was that one symbol save was why they had to submit the last second, and the bot didn't have time to actually know what their cycle count was, even with running from SpaceChem. So I'll just pull open wherever I left that file and import it.
Oh boy.
Much trouble was had, but it's fine. This is something the bot should have supported. It's just that knowing the metadata helps catch bugs in the actual SpaceChem implementation. So I liked to force you guys to provide it. Yeah, let's import this. Is that right? Yes. All right, so this is LazyOS's actual solution. And it's 75 symbols, and it's pretty crazy. Let's take a look. So this is also building the bolt in the first reactor. We did have another team that did that, or another group that did that. And let's take a look here. So blue is counting to hydrogen, which is suspicious. And all these flip-flops look a bit weird, but what's actually happening here is blue's just blindly fusing up. And it only uses these flip-flops so it can get back to pass over the sensor so that red knows what it has created. So we don't really need to worry about what these are doing. It's just escaping its own loop again. And yeah, let's show what's going on. So red is waiting first for cadmium. And how do we get cadmium? Well, we're outputting to the second reactor because we're outputting the bolt, we have to send all of our products to the second reactor. But these are actually getting recycled. So nothing's actually going to happen with those, but we're going to eventually have hydrogen. And we'll use that to build up to cadmium, which is why this is going to take on the order of 3.4 million cycles. So fast forwarding a bunch, we will eventually hit cadmium. Yeah, okay, I agree. So let me just show what blue's doing here. Chat is amused at this. Oops. Yeah, there's the flip-flop loop. So all it's doing is so they can pass over the sensor so red knows what's up.
I would put a pause between the red
Yeah.
grab and red drop at the very top there, and then
Yeah, I
just
think-
hit 4.
That's, yeah, what I ended up doing last time, I think. Yeah, so here we go. We had cadmium. And we're also starting a flip-flop count over here because we need to know when we're doing our bolt. But we'll use that after. So here we go. We detected cadmium, we output it. Now, the second reactor was recycling everything. How does it know that's coming in? Well, it's got this cleverly timed, or clever usage of input stalling. So red operates before blue in every cycle, as we know, or as I hope you know. But what that means is that red steals the input every time before blue can get it. Blue never actually activates this if red's on its proper timing. But if an extra input comes in fast enough, then blue gets to do something because red is not on the input command again. And that's how they can make sure that everything gets recycled except what they want. So without having to actually count, which would be terrible for adding symbols. Anyway, so let's go back to this pause. And we'll leave the second reactor for now, but let it be known that cadmium will get picked up and used correctly. And then we're going to wait for iodine. So let's go back to this pause. Here we go, we have iodine. And we go into our 4 count, and we're going to start constructing the bolt, all by our lonesomes. Meanwhile, blue has been out. I forgot to mention blue's been throwing sigmas out. And those have also been getting recycled. But they will be in the right spots when they're needed, because they're getting thrown away and dropped in. They're getting dropped here and eventually thrown away, but in the meanwhile, they could be picked up by any world that needs it. So we'll see that here. So let's get to the next iodine. Yeah, don't know how to solve the puzzle, just build up from margins. Exactly. All right, here we go. So use the second one, and again, this one that was about to be thrown away is instead yoinked and used for the iodines. Here we go, flip over, and that's it. Count again. So we do 1 cadmium to 4 iodines, basically. Not that it particularly matters what ratio you use when you're doing that. I kind of glossed over this, but it just dropped it there. So, oops. Come around, drop, and then we're good to go for our last one. And we're finally done. Again, steal a sigma, thanks to careful use of the bond when it's needed. Fix that bond. Yeah, so this is nice bonder layout to get this bolt done in very small space, or in very few symbols, I should say. And that's it, we're done our bolt. All right, and with that, we're back to the cadmium, so we can look at the second reactor. So we get cadmiums, and eventually blue will do something. If I delete my pause. Eventually blue will do something with them. So cadmium, and before red can get rid of this, actually sorry, this one will get gotten rid of, but because we don't need it yet. So blue will do that again, wait for another cadmium, and now there's going to be, I believe, yeah, we're going to use the flip-flop to, how do we get 2 inputs here? Oh yeah, that's right, one of these is red. So now we're actually going to steal that sigma that we needed without letting red throw it away. And yeah, drop it in here with a careful flip-flop array. We're going to construct the bident eventually. As you can see, we're getting the bolts a lot faster because we're actually constructing 1 bolt to every single cadmium we send out. Because of how the first reactor's loop works. Okay, take another, come in, steal another sigma. I think we actually, yeah, we put this cadmium somewhere it won't be stolen. Yeah, which is the same way we did the first one, and then we need to get a pair of cadmiums and come in. Eventually. Pick up another sigma, and that's everything we needed. So boom, we have too many bonds here. How do we fix that? There, debond that one, and now we're attached to the ends with this funky shape. No points for correct output shape, but lots of points for cycles. Alright, and yeah, that's it. So
Yeah,
very wild idea, but very nice.
Yeah, the reason why I posted that one meme where it's like, oh, I can't fit -1 symbols without or can I? And then I take out cycles is because near the deadline, I found out that originally I had a cadmium sensor at the very far left corner in the first reactor, and I had extra redirection symbols to go all the way back to cadmium to ensure that the output was 1-to-1.
Right.
But then I realized that actually I don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Could just over-make iodine. It'll work, but it'll explode the cycles count, and that's how I got the 3.4 million.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I had a panic. You also made me update the bot to because I had an anti-spam 1 million cycle count limit just so no one throws in their infinity solution or their BOGO sort just to see if it'll break the bot, as people do. But I forgot to increase it for this puzzle, which given that it's a symbols production puzzle, very viably could have become like this, especially with nuclear fission involved. And someone did, so I had to increase that to 10 million. All right, and this is going to take a while, so I'm just going to let you trust that this comes in at, what was it? 3,417,734 cycles, and we're going to move to the next solution in 75 seconds. But very nice solution, thank you guys. That was Berkioz we had speaking there, by the way. But this is a team of Lazy Comment and Berkioz. And next we have, not down here because we just imported here. Next we have Dairy IEEE Mave. Dairy Mave, which is a team of 4 now this week. We've also added Darius, to the team. So this is Darius.
Finally, you remembered how my name is pronounced.
Yeah, no problem. Darius IEEE 1 2 3 4 5 IEEE Enning May and I'm not gonna get this right. VPU Mave. Yeah. Enning May. Mave. Anyway, so their solution title is Your Ad Could Be Here, referencing Darius's tendency to put game ads in his solution titles. All right, or their solution titles. All right, and this is a 4-stick approach. Yeah, let's take a look. So we have lots of squiggles because we're gonna have different ratios.
In fact, this is the only solution which uses 2 fusion reactors.
Yes, that's right. But amusingly, the second one does not use the fission or fusion. They were just flexing on the fact that they only needed 4 bonders. Yes, but we'll get to that after I
No. We actually
No?
used
Oh, you did?
the sensor.
Wait, where
once.
did I? Oh, the
We used
sensor.
sensor.
Yeah, sorry. You needed that for the sensor. I missed that. Yeah. Because the super bonders do not have sensors. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, let's take a look at how the first reactor is going. Okay, we're doing a split fuse, and we're detecting americium and silver, which means we're going to be doing what was the split approach, I guess, from a large element instead of trying to fuse up from a smaller element. Rhenium. Do I remember how this works? Okay, there we go. We got americium. That'll split into cadmium easily with the carefully timed split from red, and red just needs to pick up the rest with detecting that it's done by detecting the silver. So yeah, both Waldos are kind of working together on the fusion here, with blue diving in to pick up or fuse what it needs.
Here we make a double bond because one bond command activates both sets of bonders.
Yes, that's right. Hold on, let's fast forward to it. So again, we create cadmium iodine eventually, and boom. So we don't create, we only use one bond command. To avoid the double bond, I assume. And that should do it. Yep, so we're going to build a 4-stick, and then we're going to blindly grab on both of them. With, I guess this had to be a grab job, because we're going to come back to it. Oh no, sorry, we were dumping our sigmas here. When did that happen? Has it happened yet? No. Okay, here it is. Okay, we've done our outputs. We're going to blind grab, drop out. And when does red actually have something here? While blue is doing its construction, red did come in here and drop something.
Yeah, we are doing 2 sigma per. Let me remember. It's 2 sigma per stick, so instead of 5 sigma that is actually needed. So the outputs are very unbalanced.
Yeah, but that's fine because you have them in separate pipes. Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 sigmas will come out here, and this pipe will fill up because. Oh wait, no, sorry, I must have that backwards. It's not 2. It can't be 2 sigmas per stick, or the pipes would be balanced.
No.
Oh, we're using them at different ratios, of course. Yeah, okay. Cool. So that's the first reactor, and yeah, that's basically it. With these nice bounce back sensor usages to get the dive into the fuse with blue. And let's look at the second reactor. How do we use these sticks? So you guys took advantage of some symmetry here. It wasn't
Yeah, you
craziness
can
we're
tell
gonna
this
see
is my
later, but-
solution because I get tunnel vision into making the two branches as similar as possible, and
Yeah.
then waste a bunch of symbol on trying to disambiguate them.
Right. Yeah, you're trying to find the one part where you can make them the same, which is cutting it here and putting a sigma
Yeah.
in between, which is the same we'll
Yeah.
need here.
And then,
Which is nice, but
by,
then that'll cost a lot of symbols to run around, I guess, and fix.
and then Biden gets extruded while Bolt gets grabbed and rotated.
Yeah.
The major symbol loss is the fact that we need 3 different bond minuses. 3 different.
Oh yeah, one,
Uh,
2. Where's the third one? Just 2?
Oh, so no, 2. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of another solution.
Okay.
Is the fun solution.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this is Darish. We have talking with us. Thank you for joining us. And and let's see, how's it been working on working in a team? You were solo until this week, I believe.
To be honest, this solution you're looking at is like 95% mine.
Nice.
And-
Where you kind of
and
all
it
work on
means
independent ideas and whichever one comes out.
Indian main is suggested the initial nuclear mass with using americium, and IEEE saved us like 30 symbols. There it is mine.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's often how it goes. Someone has an idea and everyone optimizes it. Okay, so I think I've kind of glossed over this, but let's go back. So this is the construction does a few. How do we do this? We count it to 3. Yeah, we do a few with this 3 count flip flop. We create 3 sigmas without doing more alpha inputs, and then we output that with getting the double bonds right thanks to the how did we do that? I guess thanks to these bond commands. And now we're going to do the bolt with a sensor to detect that it's bolt, and just need one more sigma, which should be easy enough. Boom.
One positive side of using the sensor is that we can handle sticks in either order and in any combination. Of course, it doesn't apply because we always get
But yeah.
iodine, cadmium, iodine, cadmium.
This could have worked for a
we
random,
could
yeah, random input.
an arbitrary collection of them.
Cool. All right. And I think that is it. So this will come in at, if I unpause it, 74 symbols. So beating out the 3.4 million monstrosity, and by 1 symbol, and 17171. Very nice cycles, 17,000 cycles. Next we have, and yeah, thank you for commenting that, Darish. Next we have Flexo with 74, presumably at 74 symbols. And let's see what we've got. Nice square pipe, I like that. All right. So what's Flexo doing here? We've got a nice and tight red loop for the split fusing. Blue's going to prime some flip-flops and then come in. Split. Which approach are we using? Helium approach, yeah. So yeah, that's it. Red just comes in, fuses for the iodine, it's already in the right spot, and then everything's already in the right spot. Blue's going to move it over just for the sake of the second reactor's convenience, I believe. Oh no, sorry, blue's holding onto it, my bad. It never actually got dropped. And then it'll output in the same spot, which is nice. And then blue will also be in charge of sending a few sigmas out. Which, because yeah, we have the ratios aren't an exact match, as we saw. We have a large pipe, but not too bad. So they must be, is this 1 sigma to 1 cadmium iodine pair? Yeah. Okay. And yeah, these flip-flops take care of handling the 2 Mendelevians versus the input. Okay, so nice and simple first reactor. And what will we do in the second reactor? We have to handle single input atoms. So here's the trade-off. But we have red on this funny grab drop loop. And this was, what is this doing? Shuffling things back and forth for the bonders, I think. I'm trying to remember. Okay, let's just look at blue because that'll be easier to analyze. Easier, I say ironically, because it's the more complicated Waldo. Let's throw pauses into, so we can actually find this parts where it did stuff. Yep. And then we're going to come around That's right. Okay, this is the independent constructions, I think. So we're going to build the iodine, or the bolts down here, and the cadmiums, most of the cadmium bident parts over here, and then eventually we'll, I think, need these bonders for the bident. Okay, so there we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, and the sigma was conveniently in the right spot, I believe. So then we flip it over and put it back and do it again. Straightforward, but how do we deal with the bident? We're going to build a 4-stick, that's what it is, and then red's going to pull it over when we ask it to. Very nice. So that'll mean that blue's job is very simple up here, but then it has to call a sync whenever it demands that red's in an API where it moves things over for blue whenever it calls the API, to put it in programming terms. All right, and red is also going to cut it in half with blue's help while doing that, and then that was where the sync was called after counting to 4 here. After, well, counting to 8 if you count the flip-flop for distinguishing bident versus bolt. And then we, again, conveniently have the sigma in the right spot, and now we just need to build a stick of sigmas, which we do with this funny grab-drop loop. So, boop, boop, and when it's done counting to 3, was it 3? 4, I guess, but that results in 3 sigmas because of where the grab-drops are placed, or where the inputs are placed. And when it does that third pass, because it's been extruded far enough, this grab drop will pick it up and it'll drop it in the output zone. So we can show that one more time just to show off those grab drops. Bring it around here. Oops. Where did my... Oh, I had another pause in, that's why. Okay, so boom, come around. We actually went up once, I believe. Yeah, here we come around, but it doesn't do anything because we haven't extruded far enough. So that's why we're counting with just the same flip-flop twice. And once we're done, we'll escape with this flip-flop. Yeah. All right. And that's it. So we'll show it off, and then this will come in at 74 symbols. And 8832 cycles, very nice, and especially that first reactor was very clean. So yeah, we've kind of been hitting a somewhat of a wall in the 70s here, where we have a bunch of 1 symbol saves. And next we have JoJo with hate. There was a lot of complaints about this level's difficulty, which is fair. And we're going to be using a imbalanced outputs from the first reactor approach. Thanks to that large output, or via that large output pipe. And red's doing a hydrogen loop here, but what this is actually doing is using blue's help to do the helium. So blue's waiting on helium. And when it sees it, it'll still accidentally get split one more time because that's just how the loop works. But blue's going to come in, and actually it doesn't fuse down here, it actually just bounces back up and does the other fusion for red, or drops it in the right spot for red. So with that, we've extracted our helium, added it to the antimony, and created iodine. Yeah, it's interesting though the way you use these flip-flops to bounce back, but yeah, it's not always easy to see how to completely rework it to make it better. But this is pretty good, I think, all things considered. Certainly good enough for top 10, top 5 now. And yeah, again, we're going to count with these flip-flops. This time we're going to come sideways to get to the helium. So this is actually, I think this is effectively a 2-count flip-flop here, if I'm measuring this right. With some amount of bouncing back as we pass through the first time. 1. No, that can't be right. 2. Yeah, 2 count. Yeah, okay. And after we're done, blue will ferry some sigmas over too. That was Jojo in the chat saying, I'm convinced that this first reactor is bad, but I couldn't find a way I was responding to, I should mention. That's just how it goes sometimes. Alright, and let's look at how the second reactor uses these bountiful inputs. Blue's on a bond stall, and which atom are we starting off with? Bond. This looks like the bident first. Creating a sigma stick. And let's throw a pause in here because I'm lazy. Alright, there we go. We've done that with the double bonds created already. pull out the cadmium first, and then we have to go work on the iodines because we're receiving those at the same time, which we'll eventually do because we're lazy with more pauses. Boom, boom, and we have a nice little pair of rotates here to flip it around and put it in the right spot, and that'll just work again. We also shuffle the bident down, which just puts it in the right spot for these cadmiums. Let me show that again. Right here. So go input, attach, input, and we have, oops, another input, and we have all of our cadmiums. And then we have to fix the bonds, which we actually do. This is a subtle one. Right here we have max bonds, so this one can't attach. But if we just debond because blue's spamming bond plus, and we have the bonders on the right priority, this bond will come in first, and then this one will fail to get created because of the max bonds. So very nice. And good use of the grab drop to reuse a symbol and get that out, and then we're using the same paths here, but with one flip-flop different. And that'll do it. Oops. Boom, boom, rotate, come in, and both bonds get created there. Nice. Basically single Waldo second reactor, yeah. Or, yeah, stalled Waldo second reactor. Which is considerably easier than single Waldo, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, very nice. This will come in at 73 symbols. I think, where did we save complexity here? I just want to compare now that we're getting down to the really close symbol saves. So this one had a very simple first reactor, but it costs a lot in the second reactor on blue is why. So this one, Jojo found a better balance here, with this first reactor being a few more symbols, but I think red has less symbols in the second reactor than blue because it has far less branching paths. It's hard to tell actually, but it must be one symbol shorter. So, all right, very nice. And what did I say this came in at? Oh wait, yeah. What did I say this came in at? 72 symbols and 18435. Very nice. I forgot to mention the tiebreak win over here with Flexo had half the cycles of Dairy Mave. Very good. And yeah, so we were into the top 5 here. So Flexo was 5th, Jojo 4th, and now we have Gigi Gull with a very fun solution called Mad for Timing. So I'm going to show you first what it's doing, and then we're going to explain the logic behind this. So we're going to create a square of sigmas, and you're like, what? Why would we do that? Wait, no, sorry, not quite a square. This one's going to be 3. Then we'll create a square with the same loop. And the reason for this is that Gigi Gull, sorry, did I get the name right? Yeah, sorry, this is Gigi Gull. Gigi Gull is exploiting the fact that there is kind of a symmetry here if you construct the bident in this shape with a bent handle, which is that you have 3 sigmas in this shape and 2 sigmas here, and these ones just need to be split off. This is actually all happening. So we're going to do the fission fusion in place in this square, and that means we won't have to do any bond fixing later. We just use this square loop as like the main part of our construction, just attaching to the edges. So this is, I don't know how you thought of this, Gigi Gull, but this is some mad genius stuff. All right, here we go. Let's show it off. So we've created a square with red with a reasonably simple rotate loop. And now we have to split off of it, and no bonds break because all the intermediate products have a good number of bonds. And we're not creating that many intermediate products. So here we go, we just go down to antimony, and then blue will look for helium like the rest of the solutions. And red's going to go get ready to have it be fused in. So we split off of this end, and then we attach to this end, but it'll all work out because we're doing it twice. So there we go, we added the helium, we've created iodine on one end, fuse up the rest with some amount of flip-flops, and output cadmiums for the next reactor to deal with. And yeah, as I mentioned, or as I failed to mention, this is creating the bolt entirely in the first reactor using this square approach. So let's go again. We have helium. Now we're creating the iodine in place inside the square. So you can see this is going to turn into a bolt without having to do any debonding of the sigmas, which is pretty wild. And again, same thing. And we're just about done. Helium, fuse, cadmium output, do another one, and we'll be done the bolt. So once red detects it's done, it will, eventually get synced by blue. With some amount of careful sensor usage, it's going to find its way to the output zone in these tight paths. And back to the start. And again, yeah, this triple sigma created with the same loop, just cutting out early. So let's look at this flip-flop count. This is a bounce back flip-flop, so this will be, what, 4 count? Which effectively means 3. Or yeah, sorry, it'll be 3 inside the loop and fourth one will go out. Whereas the second time... Did I have an extra help with blue? No, blue's not doing any inputs. It's a initialization thing. Yeah, because one of the times it comes in without hitting input, the second time it comes in hitting input, that's why it gets 4 the second time. We can find him 1 metric point for undifferentiated grab/drop. Thank you, Darish. It really makes these harder to read. But yeah. Some people seem to prefer grab drops and only fixing them if they have to. Alright. And with that, let's look at our second reactor. But yeah, this is some mad scientist shit in the first reactor, and it's going to cost a lot of symbols, but let's... So, you know, the second reactor had better be pretty simple if this is worth it. And it is! We're doing an input stall on red. Blue is just doing blind grab drops and bonding, and that's enough to make it work because of how we've dropped our inputs. We already have the right shape here, blindly double bonding up until we find our cadmiums, and then we'll grab the cadmiums blindly. Eventually, which was on cycle 300. 250. Here we go. So, next one. Nope. Come on. There we go. Okay, grabbed, attached, drop. And now, again, the next cadmiums that come in will get grabbed, and this time they'll move over and eventually shuffle to the output zone with the same drop. And then grab, drop, drop. So, yeah. Purely blind blue doesn't know the timing, but it's spamming it fast enough that it can keep up. Drop, grab, drop. I think this... Maybe this couldn't be a grab. I think that might break it. No, it could have been a grab. Come on. And then we'll... Where did we have an extra bond? Do we have... Where does that T-bond come in? Oh, so we didn't go to triple bonds, of course, yeah. Okay. So this is it. And this will come in at only 70 symbols thanks to the second reactor, and this first reactor managed to keep the red's craziness down with this reusage of the square loop. So it's not too bad considering how much work it's doing. Very nice, GG Gull. This is, I don't know how you think of this, but good job. Very fun to look at. And that'll be 89, 72, and 70 symbols, a 2-symbol jump. But the next 2 symbols are about to blow our competitors out of the water. Sorry, next 2 solutions, I should say, are going to blow our competitors out of the water. So let's take a look. Sir was the first to reach this symbol count, I believe, and Andy submitted today and managed to pass in the cycle tiebreak. So let's take a look. Get bent Hades. I assume the Biden is not going to be a standard output shape then. And here we go. Very simple first reactor. Red's doing a split loop with helium, but it's using this nice sensor drop so it doesn't have to have too many paths. Blue is creating a stick of... Sorry, is it creating a stick? No, it's just creating sigma. Okay, hold on. So let's give it its stuff. Good use of the second splitter to put them into leave somewhere convenient, and then we're in a split loop with blue just waiting for it to be done. So helium's detected, but blue will wait until the hydrogen to get going so that the cadmium's done. Grab, drop, or sorry, grab out and not output it, because this one needs to come back around. And what do we do the second time around? Now we attach, so the second time around we pick up the second mendelevium, attach a sigma to the bottom, and the same fission fusion loop will work, not carrying the sigma on the bottom, which will get us our second cadmium. And as you can see from the output notes, this will add a sigma the second time, which is going to be convenient for the second reactor. And meanwhile, yeah, sorry, we are building a sigma stick over here very slowly as we do these, and eventually that'll get output when at the blind grab. And that's basically the first reactor. This is a 3 count here, I should mention. So it will be somewhat to... why did this need to be a 3 count?
Yeah, the only note is that there is some kind of wonky timing with the split, because the first one through has to be split on that output in the whatever the top zone.
Yeah.
And the second one should not be, and then there's also the stick of sigma could be either grabbed or split if the timing is off. So yeah.
So you have to carefully time this so it never crash. Okay.
Yeah, there's very exact loop lengths involved.
Very good. And this 3 count, why did we need to count here? It's not for this, is it? Because that's a blind grab.
Just because counting to 3 is easier than counting to 5 or something else. So it's unbalanced.
Oh yeah, this is iodine. Okay, this is, yeah, cadmium iodine. Yeah, they're unbalanced because, yeah, you have the squiggles, but usually that means you get to skip flip-flop counting, I thought, but maybe this is just how many you need because of splitting mendeleviums.
Yeah, it's because the iodine and cadmium
1
have to be done 2 in a row, and then you can just output a sigma.
Right. Okay. So yeah, let's show this all the way through. Oops, too fast. Okay, we're getting this done meanwhile, and mendelevium, attach. And then our third pass through is to pick this up, yeah, okay. Or to deal with this loop, which just needs to be run through every once in a while. Okay. So with that, we've done some conveniencing for the second reactor, while also keeping the first reactor very simple, which is nice. So how does that help us here? And this is, again, red gets a little complicated here, but for the most part, this is just nice rectangles and bond command. So let's show it off. I think we can just throw a pause here. I think you guys can see that this is, well, the different outputs coming in. First the iodine, then the other 2 iodine, or other iodine sigma pair, I think. Am I getting that right? No, sorry, cadmium. Yeah, that's why we need 2 of them. Maybe we can just run through this, yeah. So this one is going to wait, move it upwards, and then attach to create the iodine stick. Yep. And meanwhile, the cadmium will get built in its own time. While we get the stick in.
Input alpha, it's going to
take
a while.
Okay, let's do some couple of them over here. Okay. Boom, 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 and then we will start prepping. So we also have our cadmium ready here. We've timed it so that we won't run out, I assume. Or at least this part is long enough that it won't hit the interval. And then we do the same thing again. So the second time around, we're going, oops, I skipped past the pause. Second time around, we're going to flip the other way around. Again, this bolt is usually the easy part of the second reactor, but this is very cleanly done too. And now we're going to reuse this loop, which will do the correct thing the second time around thanks to this drop. Bond, cadmium stick, and we're already done. Let's just show again how we got those double bonds done. Right here, so we just moved straight to the right, so that's easy enough. And yeah, very nice. I didn't actually show the output getting dropped. So this is, yeah, this is coming in at, 60 symbols. I have 2 pause commands in here, which is a 10 symbol jump over our competitors. So yeah, this was very nice. Just managing to like do just the right amount of work in the first reactor to simplify the second reactor without overcomplicating it. And that'll come in at, unfortunately for Sir, this is going to matter, but this is going to come in at 11,198 cycles. Oh yeah, and also, yeah, the reuse of the scrap drop, that's a good point. Berkey is very slick. First time around we dropped it out of the way so that we could have the second cadmium going, I think. Oh yeah, sorry, if we drop it over here first, then it'll be in the way of this iodine stick. So we need to have an intermediate drop here, which we can borrow from the output zone. Very nice. All right, but this is going to narrowly lose a cycle tiebreak as production levels go by only about 1,000 cycles to Andy, who submitted today and managed to take first place with Sigma slash, or improved his solution today. I forget what it was at before. Sigma slash iodine 2 plus cadmium 2. So let's take a look. Or diiodine, dicadmium. And this is actually, in spite of coming in at the same symbol count and almost like very similar cycle count, it's actually a very different solution. Well, fairly different. It's doing some, again, it's doing some work in the first reactor to help the second, but not as much. And we're going to see that that still is enough when pairing these up to make the second reactor simple. So that's the symmetry that Andy's going to take advantage of, is both these outputs have everything, all of the iodines and cadmiums in pairs. So if we output them in pairs, we will get an advantage in the second reactor. And let's take a look. So red is actually just doing blind shuffling of sigmas. It has no idea what's going on, apart from helping with the split occasionally. And blue is going to steal some of the sigmas as needed and do all the fission fusion itself. So here we go, helium as usual. And eventually it will bounce back and do the other one, and it's already done. And then we'll do that one more time before we output with a flip-flop. Yeah, so really clean fission fusion loops. The first reactor is nice and simple, just like the last solution. I think it saved symbols in the second reactor. Let's take a look in a second. Actually, that was it. Reactor goes by so fast because it's very clean. And red, again, the timing works out that blue can always grab this when it's needed because... why is that? I'm not sure how you managed to get the timing right on this such that blue never fails on it, but I guess it just worked out that way. Either that or I'm missing something about the loop sizes and the rate that the first and second reactor. Maybe I just timed the second reactor's loops, but I would be surprised. Anyway, let's take a look at the second reactor. So we have pairs coming out in this spot and this spot, and sigmas coming out in the same spot. So here's our second reactor. Basically single Waldo or wall-stalled single Waldo, and these are our nice and simple loops with some flip-flop bounce backs. Let's take a look. Pause goes, was it here and here? Oh. Okay. First we do the iodine, so yeah, the bolt, you just need to come around and flip it over. And we're going to do that with a flip-flop bounce back because I guess we couldn't fit 2 rotates in. Or, yeah, we had to do it in place because otherwise we might have hit the wall, I'm guessing. Yeah, I need to stop calling hammer single wall solutions. It's a hammer reactor. Good point, Yellow Bunny. Alright, next is the other iodine. We're going to leave the cadmiums for now. And that's just already done with just that pair of bonders. So again, we have, like a previous solution we've seen, we have kind of 3 sections of bonders, and we're going to give them all different roles to complete the output. 1.1 Waldo solution, yeah. Alright, and don't blink, but we just did the sigma stick. Let's go back to that. Here we go, boom, 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 and bond, bond, and all the double bonds got taken care of thanks to this extra third bonder. Very nice. And because we are inputting cadmium sticks, all we have to do is go sideways and input, and it's done. So that's how this reactor is so clean. Is normally the bident is everyone had trouble with, because when the cadmiums come in pairs, it becomes very easy to just do it in a line. And that's it. We're already back to the start of the loop. So in the end, the bolt actually ended up taking most of the symbols of this reactor, which is unusual for these. Well, maybe the input betas were most of it, I'm not sure. It was pretty close. But normally the bident is dominating the second reactor's cost. And yeah, this is going to come in for the symbol tie with Sir at 60 symbols, but it's going to come in at, instead of 11k cycles, it'll narrowly edge it out at 10,409 cycles. Less than 1,000 cycle difference. So congratulations to Andy and to Sir for these very impressive solutions. And to everyone who submitted solved, because this is a very difficult week. So it was very impressive to see a 10 symbol jump, but with a level this difficult, it's not surprising that there's going to be a couple of real blowouts in the huge solution space. All right. And with that, I think we have one fun submission from, which I haven't imported yet. Let me grab that. One fun submission from Yellow Bunny, as usual. Yellow Bunny is very good about submitting something for me to look at for the fun solutions every week. Let me just grab that 1 second. And import that. Okay, this is called, oh sorry, this is, oops, I didn't copy the clipboard. What's going on here? Oh, there's two fun submissions, not one. I was looking at an older fun solutions. All right. Yeah, so we have Yellow Bunny with Single Waldo 127 and Dairy Triple Mave with Cracky the Kraken. So let's take a look. So you can guess what's going on here. This is not going to be a hammer solution. This will be actual Single Waldo. And my goodness. Okay. So this is going to give cadmiums, iodines, and sigmas to the output. And that is a lot of flip-flops, my goodness. Okay. Sigmas to deliveries, split fusion with counting. What are we detecting here? BK is berkelium or something? Yeah, berkelium. 97, which will split nicely into 48 and 49. Okay. Okay, what are we doing over here with this flip-flop grab drop loop? Or line? Oh my goodness. Again, I usually leave the fun submissions to be looked at without, I go into them blind just to let them surprise me. My goodness. Okay. Why are we bouncing back through this line? We're delivering the cadmium to the output zone very slowly. And then we're going to do something with the iodine. Why did this have to be this way? Okay. I don't know if we have Yellow Bunny in the chat. Let me check. All those flip-flops are to reset one flip-flop in the middle. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, I'm not sure I fully understand this one, but I'll take your word on that. To reset this flip-flop in the middle? Wow. Okay. And that will give us, yeah, eventually we'll output them, cadmium and iodine in the output zone. Oops. Yeah, somewhere over here. And now we have to bounce back and escape our flip-flop loop. Yeah, that's why. I see. And we finally escaped it, and then we do this. The one above the second fusion laser. Yeah, it's this one, right? Oh, this one. Or is it this one? No. Okay. And we're back and we do the second mental review. Yeah. Okay. I assume this is the key flip-flop that had to be done this way somehow. I'm not sure I understand this. But eventually we'll get a lot of atoms output to the second reactor. And this is evenly balanced outputs because we did counting, I guess, over here. Is this a 5 count? Questionable, maybe. I'm gonna look at the second reactor now. This is pretty difficult. You can get back to me in chat if, yeah, top right's 5 count? Okay, it is, yeah. Alright, and second reactor is receiving these, and what is it doing with them? Oof, that's a lot of pathing. I count to 4, and then we will use that to build the bolt. What's this grab doing? Oh, this is deep magic. Oh no, there's an iodine there. That grab is doing something. Alright, let me pause. Boom. Next one comes in over here to start on the Biden, so we're doing kind of a dual construction method like we've seen before, where one flip-flop determines that both constructions happen at once. Bond, grab, rotate, fair enough. And the binding's going to be the complicated part, as is usual, except for in Andy's solution. And, okay. When did we create a stick? I skipped over that. There it is, okay. So we've been coming in and creating bonds, and then we get 2 cadmiums at once, and boom, boom. We're going to have to, yeah, we can't bond that, because otherwise it won't fit in the output zone. So we bond to the side, with taking advantage of the max bonds again. Solution name is a lie. There are 2 Waldos in there. Alright. Yeah, one Waldo per reactor. Very nice. Yeah. This is going to come in at a hefty 31k cycles and 146 symbols. But very impressive. Doing all this work in a single Waldo reactor is not easy. Alright. Next we have some fun solution submitted by Team Dairy Mave with Cracky the Kraken. What is... Ah, there it is. Is this a reference to the 4th world boss? Spoilers? They're both hatched-ish. This one's not so much, but a little bit. Okay. I guess that was for aesthetics. And what are we doing? This is similar to your first one, but you changed the pipes, right? Am I crazy? Yeah. R1 is identical, R2 is different. Okay, what are you doing in R2? I see. Before you had more paths coming kind of down the middle and the sensor was down here. Was this your original version? Oops, I skipped way too fast. Oh yeah, right, because we have a stick, that's why it's going so fast. Boom. Boom. Yeah, reference the ridiculous number of pipes on the Kraken. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, because that Kraken level is the first one where... Perhaps the first one where some people needed a lot of pipes, or sooner, depending on what you're doing. Alright, very good. All the pipes are necessary, wow. What are the first set of squiggly pipes doing here? What's this? Because these are only, like, you should usually only need 1 set of squiggly pipes to match the rate of the other pipe. But, not sure I got that one. Also, nice sigma bouncing to time the inputs. Alright. Or do the inputs for red as needed. Alright, and yeah, again, this is basically similar to what they submitted in their first reactor, but the second reactor is different. Very nice. 74 symbols. This was, what, a cycle tiebreak on with their original submission? Where is it? Yeah, 17-171 versus 17-4-16-1. Wow, 300 cycle save. Very good. All right. And with that, that's all the solutions we have for this week. So I think that's it. We'll be meeting back. The next video will be on Wednesday of next week because I made a mistake with the puzzle when I first submitted it and had to rejigger the puzzle a little bit. So I gave you guys an extra 2 days to account for anyone seeing the update late. Yeah. So with that, that's been round 6, and see you all next Wednesday. Thank you.